Should rappers make their own beats? Let's talk about it. Well, there are two things, because whether they should is one, but whether they could is another. I think whether they should is up to them. I mean, the beat leasing business is beginning to deal with more and more problems, potholes every year, which is a topic for another video. And being self-produced has not only fixed up the need to deal with pretty much any of them, as they are being more or less hidden, to the underground community at least, while time goes by, but it's also becoming cool to be self-produced. However, that shouldn't mean much, because so is being vegan and pickup artistry and affiliate marketing and entrepreneurship. And those actually fucking require fucking work, which is scary to a lot of people. Because after all, work is more than just a noun. It's actually a verb. Wow! And anyone who does all three or four of those things, I mean, that'd be impressive. Especially if they could build a successful brand around it. A role model of mine built a brand around at least 2 or 3 of them. So should you do it? I mean, I do it, but that's me. And what matters to me, aside from how fucking insanely passionate I am about it, is that I actually can do it. And I like to think, if you've heard my music, that I can make that obvious. I think what should matter to you, if anything, is that you have a choice. It can either be like yes or no, or it could be like a lot of things where you look at a bunch of details, or you know what, maybe you close this video, at this very second, you're like, fuck this Wendy's girl looking fucking kid, and you live life and do your thing, and eventually you start doing it because the time just turns out right. And you know those times when the universe just puts everything in the right fucking place, and it's like,
here you go, Johnny. Here is your very first hand job.
But a lot of things, you can say no and not do it, or you can say yes and succeed immediately with zero friction, which probably literally never happens. Or you can say yes and run into a slew of problems and handle those, which is rare, because when most people say yes and run into a slew of problems, they end up immediately retreating like a bitch because they can't find themselves able to immediately handle such a lack of preparation. Which is fine. That shit happens even if you prepare to the point where you swear there's no more possible preparation you can make. But it happens. Or you can actually look at those details and make a more calculated, balanced decision and save yourself from it. What do I mean by that? Well, what you are saving is what we're about to talk about. 3 of my favorite things, and probably 3 of yours too. Time, money, and energy.
Do you have the time?
If you have time, it will require lots of time, because you're probably going to spend a lot of that time on YouTube. And beat making is just part of rap, music production at least. There's also mixing and mastering, which I personally learned a whole year after I started beat making. The thing is, the amount of time it takes to make a beat. I think it gets shorter as you get better at it. Because even though you learn more about the little details that go into it, at the same time, you obviously become more efficient at it because you get to streamline those details through experience and make snap judgments and all this other bullshit. But there's clearly a sort of learning curve in those aspects, at least. But do you have money? If you want to start making beats, you're gonna need money, if not equipment. If you don't have equipment, you're gonna need it. This is probably like the biggest thing. But if you just want to make beats and mix and master, I heard Drake's producer Noah 40 Shabib say that all you need is a computer and headphones. If you already have those but you want to expand and or maybe even record yourself, possibly other artists, I have a video about the 9 essentials for a home recording studio. I'll drop in the description if you're looking for recommendations. I'll actually point you somewhere else in the video to find them as well that fit your budget and living situation and all that other shit. I try to cover all these bases to help every artist I can in every way I can to the highest degree at the most depth that I can. Now, something else pertaining to money is once you make that initial investment, you should be good for a while. What I did was, and this is the most practical thing I've probably ever done, I didn't even plan out my act of doing it. If I did it today, after 2 years of like relentless, obsessive self-growth, I would have done the same exact fucking thing. I probably just would have planned my planning of doing it. I wrote a list of what to get, and I added up the cost, and it was definitely in my budget, so I made an initial investment and a lot of other investments into software and moving, and a lot of other shit, and I was good for a while. As you could probably guess, I was also kind of broke, but I've definitely made some return on investment since then. I want to say, by the way, just because you need these 3 things, time, money, and energy, and you don't have them, doesn't mean you shouldn't make your own beats, because it also depends on how badly you want to. I'm always telling people, if you want it badly enough, if you care enough, you'll fucking get it. Like, seriously. It's up to you. You'll make time, you'll make money, you'll make energy, you'll save it all up and buy the computer and the headphones. You'll ramp up the energy with maybe a little caffeine and other stuff I talk about in other videos. If you want to know about increasing your energy, I have 2 videos about energy. I'll drop in the description. One of them is about boosting your physical energy. The second is about not the type of energy you'd expect, but it's definitely fucking at least 10 times more powerful. Which brings me to number 3. Do you have the energy? Energy is crucial because again, you're gonna run into a lot of problems where you're like,
where is this instrument? Why does it
automatically just have all the effects? How do I sample that one 90s song
that only 90s kids remember?
How do I hook up my MIDI piano that I bought last week because
because a lot of other producers use it and it looks cool.
Hopefully you aren't asking yourself these questions exactly. These are the types of questions I used to ask myself. But really a drive to learn, a passion to create the music is going to push you ultimately through the roughest fucking times when you swear you're ready to spend the last $40 you have on a sledgehammer so you could just smash your fucking computer with it. I don't want to do your thinking for you. If you want me to do your thinking for you, anyone who watches my channel and very, very, very highly values my opinion for whatever reasons, as well as my approach is to not take someone else's approach, but rather my own approach. And I really want to stress that difference. Whatever you do, it's like you just ideally do you. And if you don't know who you are, a lot of yourself that you don't know right now will be discovered by you along the way. Just gotta keep working, keep learning, keep rising, and surround yourself with as many of the most like-minded people as you can who want you to grow as well. If you don't know anyone who wants you to grow, watch more videos from people like me. Because hey, I don't know if I've told you this, but if I didn't care about the viewer and the ecosystem around which these videos are watched and created and shit like that, I wouldn't make them. I mean, maybe I would, but I wouldn't be putting them onto the fastest growing video sharing platform in fucking like history. Like, come on, bro. But what do you guys think? Should rappers make their own beats? Should producers stop making beats and start rapping? Or like, should the entire tables be like turned to the point of like the bitch number? What should happen here? And what could happen here? I mean, I feel like it's up to you guys. And let me know if you guys have any ideas you want me to talk about in future videos, and I'll give you a shout out if and when I use them. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. There are links at the bottom of the description to all my social media. Also at the bottom of the description, there are links to my new production kits where you can find all the hardware and software that I use to make music. If you buy any, I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos for you guys. I made all the beats in this video. If you want to use them, you can find links in the description from first to last, or at samuel.earth/beats. Make sure to leave a like if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. If you could turn on that little bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that will mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.